Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So this episode pretty much confirms that Esme is the hook killer. So if there was any doubt whatsoever, it's now cleared up. Okay, Esme is the hook killer, and there's no other theories. There's no other. It can be somebody else. We're not doing that. Okay, I said this yesterday that I was right. Now, granted, I was not the only person that felt like it was Esme, but I know there was a lot of people in the comment section and the chat that was like, couldn't have been Esme because of this, that, and third, and now we know that it's Esme. So let's just move on. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of stupidity with that. Like, I don't know, taking out a trained soldier. I mean, I get it. It's raining, but I'm like, come on, seriously? Really? Um, I don't know about this episode. This was somewhat of a. I don't want to sit there and say it was somewhat of a mess, but it kind of was. I don't understand what they're doing with Reiko's past. Liz started interrogating Finn about, oh, how come you never talk about this, that, and the third, and your life choices? And I was just like, Liz, where are you going with this? I mean, hell, even Terry had to sit there and kind of pull her to the side, like, yo, why are you interrogating Finn for? She's like, oh, well, I may have been responsible for Reiko's death or whatever, or my family. My dad might have been responsible, or like my dad knew her or something. I don't get this. I don't understand why they feel the need to retcon her death. Okay? Because there's only two possibilities. She either died on those stairs, or she died of that disease. Okay? I don't understand. I mean, now, so they're retconning that. I originally thought that Finn wanted to go into this medicine to like disease and stuff like that because he couldn't cure his wife and he was going through the same symptoms himself. So I felt like that's why he wanted to go through this infectious, why he chose that path. Now it's, oh no, my friend got caught by a snake bite and I felt like I couldn't really do anything. I was really powerless, and so that's what really inspired me to go into it. And I'm like, what? I don't get it. I don't understand why they're just retconning stuff for. I mean, this isn't one of those situations where they wrote themselves into a corner. You know, I don't. And I remember I was sitting there yesterday in a live stream, and somebody, I don't remember if it was my live stream, Candace, or was it DC, but one of the live streams, somebody was like, why are they throwing Finn into Liz's storyline? Liz gets a really good storyline. Could have been DID, could have been Supernatural, could have been anything. No. We got to sit there and tie Finn's character into a storyline, like an integral part. And by doing that, they're going to sit there and just retcon, like. And now, Liz is not there talking to Terry about, oh, I don't want to be saved, and maybe this is this is why Anna's relationship with Finn didn't work out. And I mean, towards the end, Finn did tell a little bit about Reiko and the guy that got bit by a snake, and it seemed like they was on some sort of good terms. Also, Finn and Yuri bonded over lizards. I'm assuming lizards or something. I don't know. At this point, Yuri is just there to be Terry's new love interest. So I wish they would actually give him more story, a little more backbone. But it seems like it's like sometimes they want to use characters as a tool for other characters. Diane, is a tool for Alexis as far as being the best friend, is a tool for Sonny, Michael, and Carly for being a lawyer. But she's not really a character. Um, Brooklyn seems like, there's a point where she talks to Dante, and Dante's like, there's a good chance he can get his badge back. And she's like, huh? What? And I'm like, Brooklyn, you don't. Here's the thing. You care more about what you want, getting revenge with Link, having Chase be a singer, rather than what Chase wants. I get in some sort of way, like he couldn't do it and yada 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 because of Brooklyn. Well, not because of Brooklyn, take that back, because of his bad choices. But it just seemed like she, in that moment, she was like, oh, well, how long is the paper going to be? And it's like, you should be happy. This is what he wanted. Hell, there's one point where Chase is sitting there talking to Courage, and she's like, yo, listen, if I can get back my badge, I'll leave this whole thing in a heartbeat. He's like, I'm only doing this for Brooklyn. And I'm like, aren't you also doing this to get paid? I mean, I'm not saying that his motivations isn't towards, Brooklyn, but I mean, you also are getting money and you got no income coming in, so let's not try to throw this fully on Brooklyn. Um, Cody seemed like he was trying to back out of the deal with Miss Wolf for some odd reason. I didn't really understand why. Miss Wolf was like, yo, listen, everything's in place. That ain't happening, and don't disappoint me. Because what that guy did in the alley was considered a love tap. Okay? So during the performance, because Maxie, they just shoehorned Maxie into this episode, to be honest. They really did. But, Maxie was in there talking to Cody for a little bit, and Cody was in there drinking and stuff like that, and she was like, oh, well, what are you gearing up to do or whatever? And then during Chase's performance, Ms. Wu was like, yo, listen, it's game time, let's go. Um, Maxie looked at that situation for a little bit, but then she turned around and enjoyed Chase's music, which I fast forward through because I don't know. I'm not just saying that. Here's the thing. I'm not even just saying it's bad, but I could just listen to that on my own time. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm usually not into the singing parts of some of these soap operas. Every now and then, even in shows, just like every now and then, I'll sit there and listen to some songs. And I know it's a little off topic, but there's a show called The Flash with Grant Gustin. Now, Grant Gustin can actually sing. He's really good in real life. And normally I would sit there and fast forward, like if he's singing or whatever, but when he sings, Melissa sings, and I'm like, okay, no, it's actually good. Like that's their thing. That's what they do. I don't know. I just really wasn't interested in listening to Chase sing. Um, Trina was getting on my damn nerves in the beginning, just whining and acting like a little brat. Like it just, I couldn't sit there and deal with her. Um, complaining about Curtis, and Portia was like, "Yo, do you understand what Curtis actually did for you? Like, telling her all the depths and stuff like that that he did for her. Tracking down Paul Haggerty, whatever that his name is, and a bunch of other things. Hell, he was going to give up the Savoy. He was going to sell. He was going to sell the Savoy just to try to get like appeals and stuff like that going. And that's when she was like, "Oh, okay." Like after a while, like her anger subsided, but like in the beginning, it was just, I couldn't like deal with it. And towards the end, when she did wind up meeting up with Curtis, she didn't apologize, which I was kind of annoyed about. And she did talk to him, and she was like, I do appreciate what you're doing and stuff like that. And I understand her anger. Okay, I understand her anger, but the level of it, I felt like it was too much. It was too much. But she was like, just don't do it again. Don't go behind my back. They squared things away, so it's all good now, and I'm just thrilled about that because I can't do it. Just can't do it. Um, So Esme comes in there, talks to Ryan. She got a new plan. Ryan is happy about it. And of course, that's when she confirms that, yeah, she's the killer. Because Ryan was upset. Ryan was like, yo, listen, everyone was supposed to get it. I'm just looking at this whole thing and I'm like, Ryan, do you really trust her not to go after Ava? I mean, granted, even Esme was like, yeah, I'm going to go after her, like, last. Like, she's safe for now. Um, so, but yeah, in that scene, it was great because, again, she confirmed that she was the killer. Um, I don't understand what was going on with Jordan, Robert, and Oz, because he came in there and it almost seemed like he had an immunity deal. Like he testifies in behalf of Trina, and he gets an immunity deal. So I'm kind of just like, what happened? I mean, I get that he felt like he was. I mean, I get that he was coming across like, oh well, you owe me more than just an immunity deal. I'm like, bro, just shut up and take it. She did sit there and he did sit there and nods to like, oh well, I got woken up from my coma, you know, like he had an idea that somebody was behind him waking up earlier than expected. Because even Robert said something about that afterwards. Um, and he's all like, oh well, I know the Lord, this, that, and the third, and it was like, listen, you're a waste of potential. You could be doing something good, and yet you out there, just plotting and scheming and scamming and stuff. So you guys, a deal. Because he also walked in, he was like, yo, are y'all going to plan on getting Esme anytime soon? Like, is that on y'all priority list? Like, what's going on with that? Which is kind of odd, because if he knows the law, he knows that if unless he doesn't know that she was reported into France. Anyway, he signs his paper, and he's on the phone. And of course, at this point, Esme takes him out. That's pretty much that. Just straight up murks the dude. I'm like, cool. I mean, not cool, but like, I don't know. I just, like I said, I knew that she was the killer. Robert seemed like he was trying to give Jordan some advice as far as like tiptoeing the line, the gray area, and stuff like that. And Robert was like, "Yo, listen, you do what you got to do to get the bad guys. You know, as long as the bad guys are behind bars and the city is safe, you've done your job." Uh, it's interesting having. I guess her name is Brianna comes back as Brooklyn because I was reading a couple of days ago. You know, she didn't play Brooklyn in quite a while, and I think she was acting like the director, somebody like she forgot Brooklyn's mannerisms as far as like her facial expressions and stuff like that. But she did a good job. She did a good job. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like if you had to get a substitute for a day, out of all of the replacements, I would choose her. Like as far as like people replacing people, because again, the guy who played Michael, and it's funny too because I really loved that scene yesterday with Michael coming in, talking to the knife guy, and I feel like if the other guy that was playing Michael would have had that same part, it just wouldn't hit the same. It just wouldn't hit the same. There's something about when Chad Duell delivers his lines because he's been playing Michael for so long that it's like you feel the confidence in what he's saying. You feel the confidence in what he's saying. Um, I don't know. I feel like that's about it. I really feel like that's about it, or at least the most pertinent information. Uh, Now before I go, most people know this, but some people don't. Tomorrow they're not going to be doing General Hospital because of I think a baseball game is going to be on tomorrow. So they're just saving that for Monday. So yeah, no GAs tomorrow. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that. I didn't think today's episode was really that great. It wasn't the worst, but I always sit there and tell people, because sometimes like Shakira sit there and ask me like, should I watch GAs today or what should I watch first? I'm like, nope, just watch Days today. And I still like Days a little bit better than GH, even though Days was, well, it was also not really super great, but um, like I said, the one thing I do love about this show, and I said this in Days, is that it's character driven. You know, because sometimes even when the episode is not like super crazy or whatever, like it was yesterday, or just good like it was yesterday, you still have the characters that are there that are making it worth watching. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything else that happened. So, yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.